So this is the story of three guys. The first one was a gambler, the second one a magician, and the third one it was me. So the gambler started taking the deck of playing cards and started to shuffle. And then later he started doing couple cuts. And he says, I'm gonna find one of the kings. And without a doubt, he found the king of diamonds. Anyway, the magician thought it was just coincidence. So that was the first one. Then the gambler started shuffling. And the magician was following his move very close, and the gambler shuffled once again. After all that mess and all those shuffles, he actually found the second king. In this case, the king of clubs. Now it starts to become a bit more difficult since we only have two kings left, the gambler says. He cut a couple times, and he shuffled again. And this time he did it really slow, so the magician may see. So they were mixed and cut. And in this way, he found a third king, the king of spades. Now the magician at this point, he took the deck of playing cards, and he told the gambler, I'm gonna find a fourth card. He started cutting and shuffling. So at this point the magician produced an ace. Then the gambler started smiling. And the magician said, don't smile because I didn't say which card is supposed to be. And remember, I'm a magician, and the magicians can change cards. At this point, he changed them into 4 aces. And then I just took this little pack left of cards. And then I asked, what's the point to have 4 of a kind, if you bought that train to play a poker game? For that you need 5 cards. And because the value of the card was a 10, I just took advantage of it. And because the gambler produced the kings, the magician changed them into aces. And me, well, I just found the royal flush. Hello everyone, right before I begin with this tutorial, let me explain a couple of things. This performance was explained to me by Salvo, that's his name. His YouTube channel is called Salvo Magic. And I'm gonna put the description of his YouTube channel in this video footnote. In case you like this performance, you can go and subscribe to his YouTube channel, as an appreciation. And because he actually made a video explaining to me all the setup and details for me to show and share with all of you guys. It is a really nice practical performance. I think it is quite easy. And I'm gonna make this tutorial 2 times. One is gonna be from your own view, explaining without getting into a lot of details how it works, the setup and everything. Then the second time is gonna be from my own perspective, explaining the way I did a performance, the only thing that make it difficult is, I think, all those techniques put up together that I already made from previous videos. But once you get the basic grip, the basic knowledge of the way it works, I think it's gonna be quite easy for you to implement and put your own ideas. Anyway, let's see how it works. This is gonna be the sequence from top to bottom, from the 9 main cards. Ace of diamonds. I'm using the ace of diamonds because they're going to be better for IMs they can. And I will explain that until I get there. King of hearts or king of diamonds. You can use either one. And ace of spades, king of clubs, king of spades, ace of clubs, jack of spades, queen of spades, and 10 of spades. Okay. That's going to be the setup, the main setup. I did, false cuts and shuffles. Then I did a double lift. They think is the king of diamonds, the one I'm gonna leave right here, but it's actually the ace of diamonds. I'm gonna get rid of this king in any way you can. I'll show you in the second part how I get rid of it. Then I did a double lift once again. They think it's the king of clubs, but I'm actually putting over here the ace of spades. Then you have to get rid of this card in any way you can, towards the middle or to the bottom. Then at this point, I actually did a single turnover. It can be this way or any other way you want. But I'm actually putting over here the king of spades. I try not to do it this way. I do it extremely clean over here in the deck, making sure it's only 1 card. But I try not to do it like this, because I didn't put these 2 kings, well, aces, but they think they are the kings, in this way. So I try to keep the same pattern. In this case, I try to turn it face down and then put it over here. Then false cuts and shuffles, and then a single turnover. And at this point I'm trying to take the ace and 2 extra cards below, 3 cards from here to this stack, okay, as you can see. And then I'm gonna do 2 simultaneous moves. I'm gonna get rid of the deck of playing cards, and then I'm gonna reach the stack. At this point, you either turn over the ace and then proceed to the Emsley count, or, as I did it in the performance, pick up everything and then turn it over from the long side so I can cover the shape, the diamond shape. That's why I'm using the diamonds, because it's a little smaller than the heart. In case you flash the corner, they probably can tell if it's the diamond or the heart. But anyway, I'm gonna keep swinging so they don't see the pips over here. Okay, so I do Emsley count 1, 2, and I'm reusing the first card, the Ace of Diamonds. And because this card, the Ace of Clubs, is supposed to end up all the way on top, I try not to reverse the sequence this way. Okay, I'm trying to finish with that card on top. That's the way I did it. However, if you want to do it in the way I was explaining, going back one step, I get rid of the deck and then pick up everything, turn it face down, and then I'm gonna turn it over from the long side, cover the shape, the diamond shape, and then do the Emsley count. I already have a tutorial for a Emsley count, but I'm gonna explain that later. Once I finish the Emsley count, I'm gonna turn it over from the short side. Then I'm doing a thumb count, okay, from the 2 cards from below. Once you already have these 2 cards, I'm gonna move everything from below, the 2 cards from below, to the top. Now, the way I did it in a performance, instead of doing it from this side, I tried to do it from the other side, from the thumb side. So I'm trying to take everything above the pinky break after you do the thumb count. Notice I'm trying to hold everything with my thumb in my hand, the whole stack above the thumb count, which I only had 2 cards right here below, and switch. Well, moving the 2 cards from below to the top. Notice I'm keeping the pinky break right under the top 2 cards, the top 2 aces. And the reason is going to be because of the last part, as you're watching the performance, I took the 10 of spades, then I leave it right here. I try not to keep the 10 of spades flush on the pack. I'll tell you what, if you keep it over here, flush, and when you pick it up and put it over here, that maybe looks a bit more suspicious. However, I try to keep the single card at 10 right out here, and I'm still doing the pinky break right below the top 2 cards. By the time I'm gonna grab or take this 10, I'm gonna bring back the 10 and conceal the 2 extra cards below the 10, so I can put it over here and spread so it looks more subtle. And at this point you can reveal the royal flush. Okay, so I will explain the whole performance. I already have the setup, as I already explained before. This is what I did. I'm gonna leave this card face up so you can follow it. I did a partial false shuffle, keeping a small stack over the setup that I already have on top. I'm gonna keep a thumb break, maybe not as big as this one. Then you can either cut and complete and then produce the double lift, or you can either do a partial false shuffle, and then I did the up the ladder false cuts. I already have a tutorial for that one, just go to this video full note. Then I did a double lift this way. Okay, you don't have to do it this way. And then I'm placing the Ace of Diamonds over here. The way I get rid of this card, the King of Diamonds, notice I'm taking a single card using the overhand shuffle. Then I'm gonna take a little stack over the quantity of the cards, which is the setup, over 9 cards at least. Then I take a single card, I in-jog it, and keep doing the mess right over. Then I push with my thumb right below the in-jog card, so I keep the thumb break right there, and everything above it goes back on top. So the king get lost right in the middle of the deck. And at this point I did a one-hand double lift. I already have a tutorial for that one too. If you want to know how to do it, just go to the video full note Then I throw or toss these two cards as one. You want to know how to do this one too? Again, just go to this video full note. I'm gonna post all those tutorials in the right sequence, in the same sequence as I'm explaining over here. Then the ace goes right there. They think this is the king. Then what I did, I'm gonna get rid of this king. Once again, the way I did a thumb break from the back. Then I get a little stack from below and put it on top, the thumb break. And again, as many times as you can. And as soon as you reach about an equal quantity, you can split from there. I already have the stack right here. And I'm gonna do exactly the same. I'm gonna do a partial full shuffle, keeping on maintaining this stack right here. I lift up the whole deck so it looks subtle, and I'm gonna move it to the side and then do a single cut. So it looks a little bit more subtle. At this point, I just flip over this card. I already have a tutorial for this one too. And then I try to put it face down right here. And I square because the next move is gonna require that these three cards are square in a line. So the next, what I did, it was a lateral false cuts, which I already have a tutorial for that one too, and a Greek false cut. It's just called the Greek cut, I think. All those are gonna be in this video full note. Then I did the upper exposure. I exposed the ace. I already have a tutorial for that one too, in case you want to know how to expose the top card this way. And that is why I flip over the ace of clubs right over the deck, because when I push it away to take it with this other hand, notice I'm gonna push more than one card. I'm pushing 3 cards. So I can do a pinky break right below that top 2 cards. So because I'm pushing the ace, I'm pushing more than one card. When they come back, I'm keeping the pinky break right below the top 2 cards. Then you can just do any fancy move. And then I toss this card from this hand to this one. The problem is, you do this move, I need to use all my fingers, and I cannot move my index and middle finger, because if I move them, the pinky break is gonna split and it's gonna be quite obvious right in the front. So I need to keep it and hold it with the index and middle finger. So doing this move is not a wise move, a wise thing to do, because all you have is that thumb. But that's gonna be on your own risk. However, if you wanna do it this way, you can just leave the ace side jack. Now bring it back so you can take the ace and the 2 cards from beneath. Well, again, as I did it in the performance, I just toss it and immediately pick up the ace and the top 2 cards, 2 extra cards. Notice the middle finger is right here, covering that thickness with the 3 cards. I'm doing 2 moves at the same time. I'm gonna leave this deck right over the table. Notice there is no king, because the way I lost them, they don't remain right below. However, if you do the double undercut, you may end up with the kings right below. If you do that, then make sure you cover the whole deck so they don't see the king. Just leave it right there and reach over here at the same time. Then I flip over everything from the long side, covering the center, the middle shape, the diamond. So I can go ahead and do immediately the Emsley count. The Emsley count is by taking or reusing the top card and peeling off the bottom card at the same time. So you can reuse the ace of diamonds, but because this card is supposed to end up all the way on top and not second from the top, I'm just leaving the ace of diamonds right below and then the ace of clubs right on top. I'm gonna turn over everything from the short side, then do a thumb count, 1, 2. Instead of moving the top 4 cards from the top to the bottom this way, I'm gonna take the top 4 cards from the thumb side. I'm gonna move it forward so I can hold it with my thumb in my hand and just take the top card from beneath and put it on top, maintaining the pinky break. But make sure that the pinky break doesn't open right on the front. Square the deck, show the card, the extra card, as you can see. Then you can do any fancy move, and you leave it again in diagonal, not to the side, not in the front. I leave it in diagonal like this. But while I'm taking the 10 out of the deck, I'm trying not to overexpose the absence of the pinky, so I keep it in angle, okay, as you're watching the performance again. Anyway, I leave the 10 right here in diagonal. By the time I'm gonna steal the 10 of spades, I'm gonna square the 10 over the pinky break, well, over the stack, so I can steal the 10 and the 2 aces from the top, so they don't see the thickness. And I'm gonna spread over here so it looks subtle, and you can expose the royal flush.